Last year, Mid Wales Housing went a good way to meet the increasing demands of the marketplace and the challenges of the future. This year we have done even better. However, success in the current economic conditions comes only from employing the best practices and motivating others to do extraordinary things. We started this year with an ambitious new build programme focused upon 2 developments in Newtown. Hale Reddin provides a mixture of 50 different sized dwellings that will be handed over to new tenants later this year. While Crinvrin Place, in close proximity here to our own offices, will add another 29 houses to our portfolio. All these properties have been constructed to the highest standard, and we are delighted to report that under the new framework agreement with our contractors, they have to employ 80% of their labour force from local people. To further reinforce our commitment to localism, the association has also makes it a condition of contract that our contractors give opportunities to apprentices from the area, with over 15% of the staff in some form of training. All these commitments are monitored regularly for compliance. Our programme of expansion has continued with the agreement to acquire and transfer 112 mixed properties in Aberystwyth from another housing association. And in February this year, we also signed a £5.6 million contract to construct a further 45 dwellings in Redbank, Welshpool. Our development team have a continuous programme of seeking and undertaking such projects, whether it be single dwellings for refurbishment or larger standalone projects. The recently opened community housing scheme in Dolbach would be a prime example where affordable homes have become available to families and those who might otherwise have considered moving away from the area. In this desire to ensure the sustainability of rural communities throughout the region, Mid Wales Housing Association is currently considering innovative ways of future investment in buildings and people. We are also mindful that we have a special responsibility in our future planning to consider and react to the fact that the region has one of the highest percentages of older people in the UK. Working with our subsidiary organisation, Care and Repair in Powers, not only are we investigating original ideas in this sector, but we are ensuring that our own organisation is best able to deliver the necessary solutions. Balancing the influences of need, quality, growth, sustainability and available funding is something Mid Wales Housing Association excel at. And with such an ambitious programme for both now and in the future, we must rely upon skillful and prudent accounting to keep the association on track. Therefore, I'm pleased to report that the association's result in this year have returned a surplus of £185,000. Like every housing association, we are faced with the demands for homes that far outstrip our financial resources. Our continuing ability to meet demand can only be facilitated by a financial market that continues to support the aspirations and abilities of housing associations like ourselves. The reluctance of bank building societies to enter into funding mortgages is well documented. We as an individual association need to become more entrepreneurial in the use of what resources we have available and creative in finding additional sources of funding or sharing the burden. The effort we placed over the last 2 years in assembling a high-quality board has really helped us develop this. It is through the careful blend of individual competencies and skills and the input of independent and tenant perceptions that we've been able to support the executive directors to develop and deliver ambitious schemes mentioned above. As chair, I'm always impressed by the robust nature and quality of all the debates around the board table, but most of all, the underlying desire to fulfil the needs of our tenants, both existing and future. However, the board only sets the policies and the strategy, leaving our chief executive officer and the executive directors with the task of implementation. This has been carried out throughout the year with professionalism as the results portray. Nevertheless, as the nature of our market is changing, so is the realization that the way we deliver solutions and our relationships with others both need adjustment. In this direction, the executive team and the board recognise that social housing is but one small part of a wider requirement for economic regeneration in the region. And so we have, over the last couple of years, actively contributed our input to such initiatives. As well as forward growth and sustainability, tenant engagement continues to improve through the work of dedicated management and the increasing contribution of our tenant and resident forum. Through this conduit and a range of other mechanisms, the association continues to find ways to add value to our portfolio and the quality of life of our tenants. A prime example of this working relationship has been our review of antisocial behaviour, and by reinforcing our rules and the appointment of a dedicated officer. All these activities have benefited from the participation of tenants, and it still remains a frustration that our geographical diversity makes Pan-Mid Wales engagement with all our tenants difficult, and it remains an ongoing task. From my perspective, the appointment at the last AGM of additional tenants onto the board has allowed for the opportunity to provide an increased tenant perspective in all of our deliberations. In conclusion, I'd like to thank Shane, my fellow board members, the directors, and of course our dedicated staff for their support and endeavour in contributing towards one of the most successful years in the history of the association. It's been a long journey, but we have reformed much in the period with the knowledge that whilst we might not be the biggest housing association in Wales, we intend to be an exemplar of good governance, a catalyst for change, and a landlord of choice.